Hello YouTube and welcome to the Endgame Review, where we take a second look at cards of interest. This week's card, Revenger Raging Form Dragon.
Yay!
Okay.
Iori's excited about this little talk.
The effect, Mr. Aaron.
The effect. Well, it's a broken effect. Limit break 4. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. That's all it needs to do. Just attack.
We'll get to that point.
You can choose 3 of your Revenger rearguards and retire them. If you have a Revenger Raging Form Dragon in your hand, you can ride it from your hand and it gets 10k.
Persona Ride.
Yeah, Persona Ride for the cost of 3 rearguards. It also has Counterblast. When it attacks, you can get 3k to the end of the battle. So
Cool.
it hits cross rides.
Okay, so the cost, limitations, and requirements. The cost is to retire 3 Revengers, which, to be fair, the whole deck's based on calling Revengers to rearguards.
It's a Paladin deck, of course it is.
So that's a raw Paladin deck, not a Shadow Paladin
No,
deck.
Paladins in general.
No.
Yes.
I refuse.
No,
Yes.
Paladins in general do just cool.
Whatevs. Okay. You need to have a copy in its hand, so I guess you have no way of trying to find it. You have it in your deck, but that's about
You
it.
can use Goat.
No, but you're not going to use Go. So you still have to sack into it, in my opinion. So, the cost of counterblasting 1 to get an extra 3k. It also isn't hard because you don't have to special counterblast or anything like that. So the cost is no counterblast. That's what's kind of annoying, I guess. The limitation requirements, you of course have to be a limit break, which of course you can you just wait for, really.
No damage adders is annoying.
No, the requirements just have a Persona Blast in your hand, and yeah, it's just,
And you need Revenger rearguards, so you're limited in the fact of what cards you can run.
that's the one. Anything to add, Jerry?
Like, you can't.
He's
There's
speechless.
no way around it.
Okay.
I hate it.
Just anything on the cost limitations? No, nothing. Okay.
Well, the fact is, Counterblast 1, you would normally be in a Paladin deck, all a bit eerie about the 1 here and there, but because they have a really easy unflipper, it does make a difference.
Okay.
So the
It's
cross
a
ride.
combo, to be fair.
Okay,
not just
Aaron.
an amplifier.
Continue.
How the card benefits you? Well,
And the risk and drawbacks.
it's a restanding Vanguard with barely any restriction/cost. So that's a big plus. Oh, did I mention it gets 10k? I think I mentioned it got 10k. I'll mention it again. It gets 10k. So,
Well,
yeah.
like a ride break, so you have to wait a turn for.
So even if you could guard, it'll be 10 for the rear guard, at least 15/20 if they did the counterblast to get 3k, possibly.
And they can trigger dump. That's the worst bit.
And then they reride for an extra 10, so it's another 20.
And the last column is a trigger dump. So everything, so you perfect guard it twice, and they get 2-3 triggers. It's all
It's
on
the
the
whole
rear
thing in
guard.
Aquaforce where you have to have such a setup in that
Yeah.
to trigger dump, but
This is
just you
makes
trigger
itself-
dump because it's there.
Yeah. Come limit break, you just change your attack pattern from Vanguard, rearguard to rearguard, Vanguard, rearguard.
I would even be happy if they had to retire like 2 grade 2s and a grade 1 or something. 2 grade 2s are higher and a grade 1.
Or front row. If it was front
Front
row,
row,
so
yeah.
you couldn't trigger dump.
Yes, you can trigger dump. You
But
just
no,
have to-
it's just any 3. So you just go, this. Also, you just drop a crappy niggly column, which will just take out their 5k rear guard, and then you just pummel their Vanguard, and it's like, well, with -5, what are you going to do now?
Okay, I guess we can run on the next part anyway, because both give our overall opinion of it.
Carry on.
Unless there are risks and drawbacks, Aaron, you want to say that bit?
Yeah, I was getting there. So,
You have to find it.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's its drawback.
that's
Well, you
yeah.
said
I'd
it's
say
the
that's
finish.
one of them because there's been plenty of games where I've played it and I don't find it, and if I'm doing nothing, I'm struggling. I'm not. So yeah, it kind of sucks when you don't find it, but
It's
that's
actually-
like any other deck, and you don't find your
It's actually
Vanguard.
logically the most neg as well.
Yes, because
Logically, but it doesn't make sense.
It's not.
it is because normally you start your turn, you drive check 2 on your thing, so you're +2 every turn.
Yeah.
With this, you drive check your 2, neg yourself 3 rear guards, so you're down to -1. Then you re-ride to your -2, right from when you started the turn, and then you drive check again, so you're back on 0. So, considering you normally drive check 2 anyway in a turn, you've now negged that drive check 2, so you're back on 0.
Yeah.
Similar situation with, what was it, Dauntless and Descendant.
Yeah, but it's the fact you don't even need to ride over it. You just have it and it gets 10k.
And the worst thing about it is it's also in drive check, so it's like, oh look, I drive check it right. That's more of an advantage, but whatever.
not a drawback or risk.
The only other
Risk is
drawback
myself.
I'd say is to be the most efficient with it is you need a full field. And if you end up doing the skill too many times, then you start to see the negs that it's actually getting you throughout the game. You'll run out of cards to guard with, you'll run out of decent cards to play and get nice columns and numbers.
I guess the risk is you don't trigger as well. But then you don't have to use it, you can just wait, use it next turn.
That is true.
Okay, so my overall opinion on the card is it's broke.
Yuri?
Yeah, no, it's the fact that if it didn't get the 10k, I'd be alright with it. If it didn't have a trigger dumping column, I'd be alright with it. It just has everything. The whole Revenger deck has so much support and ways around and plussing and things that it doesn't even see it as a cost to me. It's just the most broken one for various reasons, but my main issue is the fact it gets 10k.
Well,
It's a very good card. You don't have to riot break it. So just a lot of things require a lot of setup, and that's why it's going to be good because you get 10k.
The thing I see on it is if you're against dope, you can if it's just dope, no dormant, it's just dope. You can say right, perfect guard. If it's crit for game, I can still perfect guard because you could have dope, but then crit on rear guard. Okay, I'm dead, but you got a crit. If it's descendant, no guard, crit for game. It's I can perfect guard it, and it's crit for game. You get on the rear guard, but if you find raging form, I'm dead anyway. So I'm dead if you find raging form or the crit.
But they've only had the entire game to find it.
Yeah, they have only had the entire game leading up to that point to find a second copy of it.
It doesn't always happen. As rare as it is, it doesn't always happen.
But it's the fact that you have to guard and say, like, I hope you don't have it. If I know you've got it, it's like, well, I'm dead. I'm just dead. I know you have it, so yeah, just gonna walk away and hope for a heal, really. Because there's no way around it. You can't counter it. The only way to counter it is just to basically use Link Joker for a turn.
Well, no, because if you know the opponent has it, then it'll be a similar situation of Descendant. You let it through, hope they don't crit you, and then you've got to use your guard for the second attack.
But the second attack's a lot higher. That's the stupid thing. Things were 21, but it wasn't. It was 21 a second ago.
Well, do it the other way around then. I don't know.
And then there's the rear guard trigger dump column, where if they get draw triggers, like 2 draw triggers, it's like, well, I would have preferred you not to get any triggers. Could have guarded for 1, because in a drive check, if you get 1 in a drive check, that's fine, because it's usually 2 cards a drive check, not 4, but just the fact that I have raging form in hand. I get 4 drive checks.
It just shouldn't get 10k. That's all it is. Otherwise, it'd be the same as every other restanding Vanguard.
So, anyway, Mike said it was broke. Yuri says
Broke.
it's broke, and I say it's broke. So, it's a broke card.
But any more to say on it?
Well, as Yuri said, another disadvantage going back, I guess, would be Link Joker can mess it up. Just for a turn or two, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
To some extent, Narukami.
You have to keep retiring now.
Yeah, but just that's what I said. To some extent, it really depends how the game goes.
What do you mean Narukami?
Just in terms of retirement,
Right.
because
drop
basically, if
the
I'm
card.
retiring and then you retire the rest of it, then I'm kind of in a bad position because I have to drop
Okay,
the
so
entire
negging
field
deck on
again.
an already negging. But you plus so much. You neg me with Blast of Dark in that stupid combo.
I love that combo.
Okay, I'm sure that is another one for the Mike list of hate. You know, that'll come one day. I'll break and I'll have to list them all, I swear. But, yeah. Right, relatable card and combo. To start with, as far as we're aware, let me roll with 3 ways.
Hang on. Shall I go with my one first?
Okay, sure. But there's
My deck,
as far as we're
I'll go
aware, there's only 3 main ways you can really help it along.
Yeah,
so
as
go
they've
for
only
it.
just come out, there's not really a lot to go with, but mine would probably be Dark Cloak Revenger Tartu, which is the Mecha clone for Revengers. It's a 9k. When you play it, count blast 2.
You know, I
and then you
swear
can
it should be 8k, or else it'd be quite broke, wouldn't it?
Really?
The awful you could call like a 7.
You call a grade 1 or less Revenger card in the same column as that unit.
Well, there's not that many in there.
So since it's restricted to Revenger, you can only get a maximum of 7, so therefore it makes a 16 column that way, whereas the old Mecha used to do 8, and you could get the 8k beat stick to make 16. But the idea is that you're plussing a unit to then add fuel later on for...
Yeah, it'd be
raging
awful
form.
for, like, I don't know, with Raging Form, it's supposed to be neg 3, but you've just played 1 card and your starter, so it's a neg... Still a neg 3, but you've thinned your deck by 1.
But I swear it counterblast, so it wouldn't be very good.
Yeah,
counterblast
yeah.
a plus and then neg yourself.
Oh, no, Raging Form doesn't counterblast. It doesn't counterblast.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, damn. Damn.
I hate you guys.
Okay. My one is what we've seen actually before, so it's not exactly something original because we've seen it around. But I do quite like it. It's the Revenger Dark Bond Trumpeter. Wow, how many trumpeters are there? Seriously.
It's just a paladin
In
card.
fact, isn't it? What I mean, what's the trumpeter doing? You know, just
Carry on.
Just calling.
Carry on.
yeah, sure. So yes, you counter plus 1 when it's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, and search your deck for 1 grade 0 Revenger, which of course you might as well use the starter really, unless you get the grade 3 searcher out and try and find it that way.
You're missing a point on that card.
But
It comes at rest.
it comes at rest, but you don't
yeah.
really care because it's another cheap counterblast 1. It's a plus,
That's
and
the
then,
main thing about it.
and then
though.
you
It's
can neg
just-
your field again.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what are you doing?
Whether you use it that turn for a boost or not, it's the fact that you're just getting 1 unit out for a counterblast.
Which again, it's just
Granted, you would have to run more starters unless you want to sacrifice draw triggers.
no, you
or-
just chuck in 1. Chuck in 1. 1 grade 0 and many of these as you want. But it's the point that it's just 1 counterblast, so just a cheap little plus that fills out your field.
For Raging Form.
Because all you really, for Raging Form, because you really need is 5k behind there anyway. You can always just get another blast to search around, thin your deck even more to try and find stuff. You talk about something.
Well, I think you should use a break ride. Illusionary, Revenger, Mordred, Phantom, because, you know, if you're going to swing at them twice with 21, why not? Right? Can't see a downside in that. Oh, and you counterblast 1, a nice heavy cost there to call a unit.
But to be fair, a lot of break rides do just plus you 1 in one way or another.
Yeah,
so it's actually counterblast for it.
But this gets a counterblast to call the unit, a grade 2 or less, to rear, and it gets 5k.
Well, actually, it's not a counterblast if you call Blast of Dark, because it now flips again.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And it gets 5k, so it's basically, if you use it on the trigger dump column, it's treated as it's already got a trigger. Because why not? Why wouldn't it get 5k?
Personally, if I were to do that, I'd probably attack with that extra 5k column first, and then trigger dump on the other one. So it's a 15, then it's a big number, then it's a big number, then it's an... Assuming, obviously, assume you get triggers, but you've got 4 trigger drive checks to get it.
Well, I've done that before, I've got nothing, but I don't run shadows. So.
Yeah, but as a whole, it's just, it makes that niggly column not so niggly, really, is it? When it's like, oh, 20...
It's forcing them to...
It's like 21 at your Vanguard. That's your niggle? Yeah, that's my niggle. Sure.
Okay, guys, thank you guys for listening. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and give your opinion on said broken card.
Broke card be broke.
I'm just going to say it now. Comments just broke.
Beastie.
No, everyone will be like,
It's Bisou.
this person
so broke.
I always beat it every time. Yeah, sure you do.
Well, that's no how. Okay.
Please.
So on that note, we'll see you guys later.